Okay. I don't know how many more ways this needs to be said. People on the internet seem to be very sheep-like. They see a meme and it doesn't seem to matter where somebody puts it or what their intent is, but they accept it for what it has always been. Somebody put a meme on a controversial site that I follow. I follow the Men's Rights Army, and a meme was put on there about women having tattoos and being violent. And the guy who put it on there could have put that meme on any site and gotten a funny reaction out of it. To put it on such a controversial website, site on Facebook, he knew full well that there was going to be somebody, especially someone like me, who was going to give him a very controversial response. Like, women with tattoos aren't always violent. It's not about the tattoo. It's about the person. You cannot blame people with tattoos for being violent. You've got to look beyond the surface. Tattoos don't make people violent. It's the person, the character, the personality of the person that makes a person violent. Now, when I try to explain this in my own weird way, because as people who follow me kind of might have figured out by now, I have a very roundabout way of saying things, and I have a very roundabout way of saying things because in my head I have to get there. So it takes me a while. So when I have to write it out, it takes me a bit longer. And sometimes I think I've said what I've needed to say, and it can come across a little differently to somebody else, even though I think I've said it. If that makes sense. I don't know if it does, but I'm sure we'll get there. So I have a very long way of saying things, whereas some people can say things in 3 words. I cannot. Not realistically. I'm not very good at it. My brain doesn't work that way. The thing is, when I put up this response that tattoos don't make people violent, and they certainly don't make women violent, you can't put the two together like that. He came back with, yes they are, they're always violent, and they have mental health issues. And he really went for me, and he told me to shut the fuck up, because I didn't know what I was talking about. Well, yeah, I do. Do you see even one tattoo on my body? Not even one. And you've seen the majority of my body with the outfits that I've worn. I don't have one. Not one single tattoo do I have. Not one. And as the people who have watched most of my videos are aware of, I have a lot of mental health issues. And most of them are connected to my neurological condition. And some are connected to the trauma that I suffered. The thing is, I also have sisters and lots of friends, and pretty much everybody I know are covered in tattoos. But the majority of the people I know have no mental health issues, or very few mental health issues. There are people that I know with tattoos who have mental health issues, of course there are. And there are also people I know with mental health issues that don't have tattoos. And there are people that have, everybody has, you get it. Of course people with tattoos, some will have mental health issues, because people are people. But when I was trying to explain this, you can't put this in one bracket and blame people for being violent just for having tattoos. It doesn't work like that, in my own roundabout way, as we know. He really went off on me, and at the end of every single one of his comments he put a smiley face, one of those laughing faces, as if he was trying to be funny. Now I get this meme was supposed to be a joke, but when he put this meme up, he did not add a comment to it as saying that he thought this is supposed to be quite amusing. He left it as is. So he expected a controversial response. He knew what he was doing. He didn't just put this meme up and then go, isn't this, this is amusing, or I find this funny, or put any kind of title with it. He just put it up there. So he knew that by putting it up there would be discussions. Some people would take it for what it is and just accept that he thought they were joking. He was joking, everyone assumed it was a big joke. But I wasn't the only one who queried it, and I wasn't the only one who was controversial. And the ones that were controversial, there was debates going on, and he really reined us. He went for us, and he put his little smiley fire, laughing faces after every comment, because he seemed to think it was funny. That he wholeheartedly believes, that any person who has a tattoo, at all, any tattoo, is violent, toxic, has severe mental health issues, and is a vile, horrible person. And he did it all under this cover, and he made sure that point was put across, wholeheartedly put it across, and did it all under the guise of trying to be funny. And you know what? Instead of looking at that conversation that me and him were having, this one person took my comment and wrote, "It's a joke, shut up, Karen." Okay, right. And I thought, oh my God, I could respond to that. And I thought, do you know what, it's not worth it. If you can't look at what the fuck he's saying and see that he put that meme up, okay, if he put that meme up on any other Facebook page or on his own profile or anywhere else, yeah, it can be classed as funny, it can be classed as amusing. But he put it up on a very controversial site about men's rights, about a social equality, on a site that is dedicated to fighting and trying to stop this, or not stop, but try and help the problems that are going on in the society that men have. That is what that site is dedicated to. And when people post on there, it's about trying to gain the help and the respect of the community. It's not about, and yeah, people can have a laugh and people can joke on there, but it's not a joke to laugh about. It's not a complete joke to put up this thing with no title, no heading saying that you find that this kind of meme is funny, because he didn't. There was nothing to suggest that the person who put up that meme found it funny or amusing in any way. He didn't title this meme. He didn't put it up there and say, this is amusing. There are other memes on that site where people have put, oh my God, I can't believe this is out there, ha ha ha, isn't it funny? People do that, and we take it as such, and then we have a laugh over it. But to put it up there, no title, no nothing, no concept of what he thought about it, meant that he expected people to have a natural reaction to it. And people did find it funny and just went along with what the meme entailed realistically. And if you put it anywhere else, even I would have gone, that's amusing. Yeah, I can see the funny side of that. But to put it up on a site where it's designed to cause controversial discussion, you know that I'm going to do it because I like to. I like to have a discussion. I wanted to see how he would react because I wanted to know why he put it there. So by actually giving a real opinion on the meme, I got a real answer. And I got called a Karen for it. Now, if I can get called a Karen for telling somebody that you cannot judge somebody by their physical appearance, and that tattoos do not make somebody violent, they do not make somebody mentally ill, they do not make somebody a horrible, vile, evil human being, that you can't look at somebody and go, yeah, that person's got a tattoo, therefore they must have mental health issues, they must be violent, they must beat their partners, they must be abusive, they must be toxic, they must be all these things because they have a tattoo. Because I said that that is completely wrong and that's not how the world works, you can't look at people and say that thing. You can't judge people like that, because it's not a tattoo that determines those things in people. It's your character, it's your personality, it's what happens on the inside. It's your life experiences that determine your mental health. Or, for me personally, it's also things like medical conditions. And I'm sure there are hundreds and thousands of people that have medical issues, neurological issues that cause mental health issues. You cannot physically look at somebody and go, you've got a tattoo, you're evil, you're horrible, you have mental health issues, how dare you be abusive to your partner. Yeah. But for doing that, for saying that, for not just taking the joke, and for actually trying to get a real response out of this guy, because I wanted to know where he stood on that meme. I got called a Karen by some woman who decided that I should just take the joke and I shouldn't just be causing trouble. It's a men's rights group, but it's run by a woman called Roma. Well, her name's Chloe Sampson. The site is Roma's Army. That's who she is. That's what she does. And she vouches the gender. She doesn't care about gender. She treats the issue. She's amazing. But you cannot sit on that site and pretend that that's okay without questioning what their stance is. Now, if he had gone, I fully agree with you, this is funny, ha ha ha, I would have taken it and gone, awesome, cool, and I would have dropped it and I would have left a smiley heart, smiley face thing on the meme. But he didn't. He attacked me. He attacked every human being on the planet that's ever gotten a tattoo. He did all of that just because that's his whole thing. He didn't care about anything more than getting his view across. He shouldn't be on. He shouldn't. He believed wholeheartedly that people with tattoos were these evil, heartless, abusive, toxic, nasty, mentally ill people. And he didn't like being called out for it. And this woman who called me a Karen either didn't read the conversation that we had or didn't like the fact that I called him out on it. And anybody else who thinks that calling somebody out for being that shallow, that judgmental, that, oh my days, is ridiculous. You cannot be a Karen for calling someone out like that. That's not what it is to be a Karen. We all know what Karens are. Karens are these people that care about nothing but themselves. Then they judge people for who they are on the outside. They are judgmental, they are shallow, they are selfish, They don't care about anyone but themselves and what they want and what they get and how they get it. They come first at all costs. But because I called somebody out for behaving like that, I'm the Karen. Well, fine. If that's what the world wants to think of me, go for it. Because I won't be affiliated with a guy or a man or a human being of any kind, man, woman, it, thing, whatever the hell you think you are, who believes that what you look like determines who you are. I won't. And I will continue to be a little controversial, because that's who I am anyway. And I may not always be capable of telling people, of saying things in a very quick manner. I'll never be able to do it. And I may, as I get older and as the years go on, get a little slower at saying things. But there's nothing I can do about that. You know, I believe that people should be real. They should be true to who they are. Your personality and your character are who you truly are, and that comes from here. It comes from your life experiences, it comes from your heart, your soul, and they're things we can't see. They come from your actions, the words you speak, the things you do in your life, the way you behave, the way you act, the things you... You can't just look at somebody and go, oh, look at you, you must be this, you must be that, you must whatever, because of how you look. I know that people might look at me on the internet and go, oh my God, look at her, she's a whore, she's this, she's that. I don't give a shit. I dress how I want, because I like it. I will put on my outfits, I will dress up, I will make myself feel good about myself, because I enjoy it. And after all these years, I have the right to. You know, I don't care what people think of me. But what I do care about is how easy it is for people to deceive others, especially on social media, just because they don't look close enough. They don't want to read between the lines. They take one look at an emoji and think, oh yeah, it's all a big joke, or it's all this, it's all that. You've got to look further than you want to look just because you want to see an emoji smiling. It doesn't mean it's happy. You the sheep mentality, because something's on social media, people have this, I don't know, I've noticed it more, that people have kind of stopped thinking individually and kind of gone with the flow a bit. Oh well, if that person says that, and if this is a meme and people are taking the mickey out of this meme, and this meme is about to be this, then obviously we can't be anything else, and it can never be anything else. It can't be anything. No. There was a time when human beings listened to their own instincts, dealt with their own thought processes, read between the lines. You know, they didn't just take it at face value. You know, they social media has done something to people. it seems to have stopped people from thinking outside of this little tiny box. They take things at face value on social media, and it's happening more and more and more from what I can see. I know that there are hundreds and millions of people out there that are capable and do sit there and go, oh my God, this is ridiculous. And I've seen it. The people who still actually are individuals and think for themselves. But you can also see all those people who take everything at face value, don't even question when something is put on there. And you just think, but it's query it, question things. When something is looking a little whatever, take a look at where it is, what it's doing. If it's on a site that's a little bit funny and it's on a site that you can have a laugh about, then fine, whatever. If it's on their actual profile, go for it, have a laugh over it. But if you find something that is destined, that's always been a little, or that could be taken both ways, like that particular meme, people with women with tattoos are violent. That can be taken both as funny and serious. Take a look at where that person's posted it. What kind of site is it on? Is it on Facebook, Twitter, whatever? If they've posted it on Facebook, what page is it on? Is it on a page that can be laughed at? Is it on a page that's, all about being silly and ridiculous and having a laugh? Then you know full well that it was put on there because somebody was in a weird mood that day. Or is it on a controversial kind of site, a site that could be taken very seriously? Because if so, what is the purpose of putting it up there? Because this then could be taken both ways. It could then be a serious meme, or it could be a light-hearted meme. Find out the reason it's there. Don't just assume it's there as a joke. If it's controversial, if the site it's on, the page it's on, is a controversial kind of page, like the Men's Rights Army, it can be taken both ways. Find out what the reason is for putting it there. Don't just assume. There are hundreds of pages on social medias, on all of the social medias, that can be taken as both serious and silly. So whoever you're following, whatever pages you're following, whatever social medias you're following, figure out whatever's being posted, what is meant by it. Don't just assume that it's silly or serious. Look at the site it's being posted on. Because if it's on a silly site, the site where it's mainly just really ridiculous posts, it's there because someone's in a really silly mood and they just want to be really random. And you can have a laugh over it. Or if it's on a site that's mainly under serious posts, then you can have a serious conversation and, it can be actually quite educating. If it's on quite a controversial site that you follow, and that post can go either randomly silly or quite serious, find out which way that post is meant to go. Don't just assume that it's one or the other. Query it. Put an honest opinion on the post and see what response you get from the author or from the people on it. But the author's honest opinions will come out. If you put your honest opinion on it, you'll get an opinion back. You'll get honest answers back. And if they're ridiculously honest you'll either get a silly response, or you'll get a serious response, or you'll get a nasty response. And then you'll know. And you can go from there. And I think if we actually did that, you can actually, I don't know, feel like you can do something a little bit more. And even if you get people in the world calling you idiot names and thinking that you're some kind of Karen because you had the nerve to question something that can be taken in two directions, at least you know what the author's intentions are for that post and how they plan to utilise it for their own use. Like that guy. He thought he was being really clever when he was just trying to cover up the fact that he hates people with tattoos with an absolute vengeance, thinks they're evil, vile, nasty human beings who are abusive and toxic and all have mental health issues, severe mental health issues for that matter, and he wanted to cover all that vileness up and pretend he was being funny, when in reality that's not funny. That's judgmental and that's shallow and it's disgusting behaviour. And I don't like it. And I think we're better than that. I think human beings are better than that. And we shouldn't be standing up for people like that. We just shouldn't stand up for people like that. We are so much better than that. So much better than that. So yeah. Anyway guys, I'll let you go. Have a good day.